did me dirty on that intro.
What do you think about that?
It's good, but I can't believe you got me with the Boy Scouts.
Yeah, he may have perused your mom's social media channel.
Yeah,
a little
maybe.
bit, so.
Maybe.
Well, welcome to episode 1 of In the Bay from Collision ProAssist. My name is Jason Bartonen. I am the founder and chief technician advocate here at Collision ProAssist. And this is my nephew, Bryce. Bryce, tell us who you are a little quick.
Well, my name is Bryce Dunstan. I have been in the auto body industry, you would say, for 5 years total. Okay. 2 in college and then 3 out in the field. I'm just kind of getting my feet wet, really, into the whole industry, but I like it.
Yeah.
Can't complain. So, there's always stuff to complain about, but complaining
right.
doesn't do much.
Right,
so.
Doesn't do you a whole lot of good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to have you here, and Bryce and I have been talking about doing this for quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
Bryce, when he graduated high school, moved down to Green Bay with us and moved in and went to technical college here in town, and has since found employment at a local collision repair facility.
Mm-hmm.
A nice dealer shop, the largest one in the state of Wisconsin, which is pretty cool.
Yes, I believe the square footage of the shop floor is about 75,000 square feet. So we have a lot of shop space.
That's a pretty big shop.
Space. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome, though. So, hey, so this is our first episode. We're going to talk about a few things tonight, but we are going to be expanding that conversation in the future. Tonight we're going to talk about a little bit about who we are. Bryce did a little bit of introduction of himself. I'm going to introduce myself momentarily a little bit more in depth, let you know who I am for those of you that don't know me. Talk a little bit about what Collision ProAssist is and why I started Collision ProAssist. What BackBay is, which is one of the services that I'm offering, and kind of dive into that a little bit. We're going to close it out with a little bit of fun as well. Hopefully, get to know Bryce and myself maybe a little bit more. But as far as like future things we want to talk about directionally in the future for this podcast, we want to talk about new vehicle technology and kind of the impact that's going to have on you as a collision repair technician, whether that's new materials, whether that's new advanced safety systems, or other vehicle technology, just kind of how it's going to impact you as a collision repair technician. We're going to do some new model overviews. That's an idea that Bryce had, kind of talk about some of the vehicles that are coming out on a regular basis. And Bryce will probably cover some performance numbers and fun stuff like that. And I'll kind of take the collision repair approach and talk about the vehicle architecture and design and what I envision, how that may impact, again, you as a collision repair technician. One thing we're certainly going to dive into is some real-world technician challenges. So things that Bryce runs into on a daily basis, things that we get through the BackBay Discord server, which we'll talk about a little while later, but things that are happening on the shop floor that technicians struggle with, and kind of talk about it and see if we can't come up with some solutions. And if we can't do it here, then we've got the connections in the industry that we can reach out to and bring that in. So if you've got questions or you've got ideas for different topics from a collision repair standpoint, by all means, please reach out to me, Jason at collisionproassist.com, and we'll add you to the queue, and hopefully we can address some of those conversations in the future. Another thing I want to do, which I think would be kind of cool if we can pull it off, is I want to do some kind of new tool and equipment kind of features / reviews. So if you are a tool equipment product manufacturer that has something that you want to get to the collision repair industry, get in touch with me again, Jason at collisionproassist.com, and Bryce and I'll test it out, or maybe we'll go over to technical college, or maybe Bryce will bring it to the shop for a couple days. So a couple of different options there. So if you're interested in sponsoring an episode and kind of having a tool featured, maybe we'll have you on as well and talking about it and your vision for that tool or equipment and kind of where you're going with it. So a lot of fun things in our future. And so I'm kind of excited, and this is a bit new for me. I've never done this media before. You have. Bryce had a podcast for a while.
Yeah, very brief. I guess it was 2 years. It was at least 2.5 years. Yeah. We kind of stopped there now because middle of the summer, there's not much sports to talk about. We're not big baseball guys. We're more football guys, wrestling guys. All the winter sports, so to say. So,
what was the name of that podcast in case somebody wants to go check that out?
Hard Count Heroes.
Hard Count Heroes. That's available on...
We're on Spotify and YouTube. If you want to, just throw it on in the background, it's on YouTube, the, video of it, because we record it. If you just want some audio, it's on Spotify. I know Jarrett was having some issues with Spotify after their latest update, so I don't know where he's at with some episodes, but we haven't probably done an episode in like 2 months or so.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to getting it started back up in the fall.
If you want to hear a bunch of Wisconsin guys talk football.
Yeah, talk about
place.
the Packers and how good they are and everything else. So
And this is what we're supposed to say too, right? Like and subscribe to this channel, correct? Is that what you're
yeah,
supposed to say that as well?
well, you're just supposed to say, if you guys like it, drop a like. If you guys have questions, comments, obviously drop them in the comments. Direct them towards both Jason or I. And we'll, like he said, we'll try and figure them out as we go through it.
And if there's something you don't like, let me know that too.
Yeah.
I've got a storied career with lots of constructive criticism and flat out criticism, so I got pretty broad shoulders. So if there's something that you don't like, by all means, again, this is one of the big concepts around Collision Pro Assist, and what I'm trying to do is this is for technicians, by technicians. And I like to think that I kind of know what technicians want and need, but I'm not a technician. I'm not on the shop floor every day. So if there's content that you think could be better served in a different way, or if you got other ideas for it, by all means, I'm all ears. So with that, so again, Bryce kind of introduced himself a little bit, talked about his tenure in the collision repair industry, and he started young. That's why I threw that Pinewood Derby cars. You got cars in there, and that one picture, I love that picture of you at your computer. You're doing like an art project. I know you had an Audi R8, you some Porsche 911 stuff.
Yeah, I think that was my first ever video, or not video, like online presentation we had to do. Pretty sure it was like 4th grade or something.
Yeah, so that was I loved working with you on that project. That was super cool. He's always been a car guy.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why I'm incredibly excited that he's part of this industry. That he's part of this show, and we got big things planned for the future of this and Collision Pro Assist and everything in between. So a little bit about myself, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jason Bartonen. I've had a pretty long career here in the collision repair industry. My grandfather opened a body shop in 1939 in Ishpeming, Michigan. Shop that you worked at for a little while, actually.
Yep, still there.
Still there. It's run by a couple of my cousins today. My dad was my high school automotive instructor. Taught me to work on cars when I was a teenager, and the rest is history, as they say. So I started as a technical writer at the iCar Tech Center in 1996. Did a number of developed curriculum. Was responsible for assembling a number of different courses back then. I spent 23 years at iCar. When I left there, I was the director of industry technical relations. I had oversight over curriculum at one point in my career. And I got to meet with tool, equipment, product makers, vehicle makers. I got to meet incredible car people from all around the world. And I absolutely loved being able to do that. I love that job. I've really appreciated the opportunity to go to a lot of different places I never would have had the opportunity to in a different field potentially. And I've met some incredible people. When people ask me what I do for a living, I'd often say I travel around the world and talk to car guys, and that's men and women both included in that. But so I've been pretty blessed, I think, when it comes to that. I spent 23 years at iCar, the last 6 years at Collision Hub, again in a similar role, that director of industry relations, and again meeting with tool, equipment, product makers, body shops, technicians, and when I went from iCar, it was kind of a bigger picture, like it covered the entire industry.
Very broad.
It was very broad, the entire industry. Then I went to Collision Hub, and I started working more closely with collision repair facilities and technicians.
More mom and pop shops, and getting them more caught up. And if they couldn't afford certain tools, you would suggest good alternatives and kind of help them figure out what they needed to do to succeed.
Yeah, and I built a rapport with a lot of technicians, and so now I went from this big thing from iCar to shops, and now I'm dealing in Collision Pro Assist specifically more with technicians. So again, I mentioned my name is my title is founder and chief technician advocate. That's how I see myself, is really as an advocate for technicians. I believe, and one of the reasons I started Collision Pro Assist was I think about I think about events that are in the industry. I think about the tools and the resources that technicians have, and how they're almost kind of treated on a daily basis. Maybe that's not the best word for it, but I just don't think there's enough support for technicians. The men and women that fix cars for a living, you included, you're the reason that I've had a nearly 30-year career. I haven't been, in the shop day to day working on cars. I've been in the industry, but I've been doing things outside of that. But all of that is possible because of technicians. And I just don't think there's enough resources. Yeah, there's training, education. There's a wealth of information on the internet, but it's all over the place. It's all scattered over the place, and the training that we've taken historically has been again a very kind of a broad topic. It's adhesive bonding, for example, might be a class that you might take. Well, you as a technician don't need to know like every brand of adhesive and every chemical makeup and everything. You need to know how to use the adhesive that you're working with and the vehicle that you're working with, the tools and equipment. So I'm trying to take a much more tailored approach, a much more technician-focused approach to technical information, technical support, and education. I'm doing that through Cruiser ProAssist with some one-on-one kind of coaching, as well as BackBay, which we're going to kind of dive into here in just a minute, because I'm incredibly excited about BackBay. I think it's got a lot of potential to really change kind of the landscape of everything. So, but again, back to Collision ProAssist. What I want to do is, again, support technicians, support the men and women that are fixing cars every single day that haven't had the opportunities that I have. I know you're relatively new in the industry, but how many trade shows have you been to? Zero. I mean,
Zero.
I
was gonna say SEMA would kind of count, but that's more of like you just go to see the cool cars and
you were a student at the time.
Yeah,
And you
so
weren't out talking to tool equipment product makers. You weren't sitting in seminars.
No, we did. I did have to sit in. We did as part of the kind of
student program.
Yeah, student program we were doing. You had to sit in. You had to pick a seminar throughout the week and go and sit in there. That's what Jim and Joel, said. Hey, while you're here, just go and pick something you like. Just go sit in it. It's 30, 40 minutes, whatever they are. And it was good. Yeah.
Excuse me. So I think you've had that one opportunity to do that. Was it 1 year or 2 years that you went there? Just 1 year.
Just the 1 year.
Just the 1 year. So you're probably you're in the minority, I think, when it comes to students that get a chance to go to SEMA. Certainly, and as a technician, you haven't had the opportunity to go there. Does anybody go from your shop on a regular basis? Technicians?
No, I don't think so. Well, it's just because last year we were dealing with the whole transfer and everything of dealership names. Well, actually, that was 2 years ago now, technically. But we were going through a dealership ownership change, so a lot of people wanted to stay and see what was going on there. But I think just a lot of the guys and gals I work with at the shop, they just are more worried on working.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, to go to SEMA, you got to pay for your flight out there, hotel room.
It's a lot.
And it's a lot of money, compared to, say, if you stayed home and worked all week.
Make money, right?
Yeah, make a lot more money.
Yeah, so a lot of technicians don't get to go to SEMA very often. They don't get to go to regional or state trade associations. So all the great content that's at those events, all those great seminars, all those great educational opportunities, that information never makes its way back to the technician. So I've had the opportunity, again, to listen to some fantastic speakers throughout my career and meet some incredible people. And technicians don't get to interact with those people very often. They may have a local, equipment distributor that comes in from time to time, but they're usually not an expert on all the different products that they sell. They may have a couple of areas that they're really good at. But if it's a paint if it's a paint store, a paint distributor, well, that's not really what I want to turn to for advice on a welder, right? So what I'm trying to do with Collision ProAssist, or what I am doing with Collision ProAssist, is supporting technicians in getting them that information, connecting them with the industry, connecting them with the tool, equipment, product makers, subject matter experts, and just kind of really just do my best to try to help support technicians and further your career. So one of the ways that I'm doing that is through the BackBay product, and I'm going to pull this up on my computer over here so Bryce and I can take a look at it as I'm talking about it. But this is BackBay, and BackBay is housed in Discord. So I've created a private Discord server that is again intended for technicians. It's a membership. It's a membership program with different tiers of membership in here. But what I've done is I've taken the concept of, say, like Ask iCar. When I was at iCar, the repairability technical support portal, we launched a portal to help technicians. There's articles on there, an Ask iCar, and different features. And the Ask iCar feature is fantastic, but at iCar we were only allowed to say like a limited amount of things. We couldn't really provide much guidance or direction. When I went to Collision Hub, we launched a program called Pick a Tech. And Pick a Tech was a way for you as a technician to send me a text message. Hey, I'm working on this vehicle. There's our section procedure. What's the material makeup? I'm having troubles understanding the procedure, interpretation of procedures, material selection, just kind of any kind of technical question that you might have as you're working on the vehicle. It was always a one-on-one conversation, right? So Bryce would text me, I do some research, I text Bryce back, and Bryce would go on his merry way, and now the two of us would have the answer. Or I might run in a situation where Bryce asks me a question, I don't know the answer. I do the research, I can't find the answer. And this happens on a limited basis, but it does happen from time to time.
Very rare occurrences where you're working on very unique panels to replace, like maybe a middle floorboard on a minivan where they hit a log and it came up and it hit the bottom of the floor or something.
Some weird stuff.
Some really weird stuff, and that's where a lot of problems arise.
Sure.
And one thing I've noticed, even though I've only been doing it on my own like for 3 years now, is one thing I've noticed is it's not the easiest to get all the information. Like do a upper apron replacement on an F-150, just like I think it was Alan was talking about in Collision ProAssist the other day.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Like if you go where it tells you to go on Ford, they tell you use like 3 things and show you 2 pictures and that's it. So the majority, like if you're doing it the first time, you kind of want to get a more in-depth procedure, and I think a lot of people are just kind of guessing.
Yep.
And guessing is what we don't want to do, and that's what we're trying to prevent here with BackBay.
And that's where BackBay came from. So the naming of BackBay is, you're a technician, you're at the vehicle, you've got a question, and more often than not, what do? You turn, hey Bryce, can you come over here and take a look at it? So now I get your opinion, and at best I'm probably going to get incomplete information. There's a good chance that I'm getting misinformation or the wrong information. Or maybe you turn to social media. Go like, hey, I'm going to go to Collision Repair Technicians United and ask a question. Well, 2 things happen there. Again, you get that at best incomplete information, or you get the heck beat out of you. You shouldn't be working on cars. You don't know what you're doing.
You don't know how to do a box side replacement on a Rivian? Well, right. What are you doing?
And so rather than turn to the person in the stall next to you or turn to the social media experts that are out there, I have assembled a team of collision repair subject matter experts from tool, equipment, product makers, vehicle makers, and we are waiting for you virtually in the Back Bay. Hence the name Back Bay and the name In the Bay for the show, because we're kind of in the Bay today talking about it, and we're in Green Bay, so it's kind of serves a dual purpose. But and so I've got these tool equipment product makers, and there's the people that I've built relationships with over my nearly 30-year career now from these tool equipment product manufacturers. So again, when you've got a question on 3M product, you don't have anybody to turn to. I do. I know Sean and I know Ryan, and I can ask those guys, hey, which product should I use here? What's the procedure? Why isn't my adhesive sticking? Whatever that question is, like, I've got those resources from all these different tool equipment product makers and vehicle makers. And one of the concepts around BackBay is connecting you, the technician, directly with that group of experts. And so I've been meeting with these subject matter experts and getting them in BackBay and getting them geared up and ready to go. They can share information, they can share content, they can answer questions for you, and we're really building a support community. It's not a peer-to-peer technical inquiry answering area. It is a technician to subject matter expert area, and making those connections. And that's something that's never existed before. And that's what excites me the most about BackBay is, again, putting you in contact with Sean and Ryan from 3M. Like, you've never had that opportunity to do that before, nor is the majority of technicians that are out there. And through BackBay and over time, we're going to continue to build this support community. It's going to be a place to lift each other up. And so I want to dive into a little bit more about BackBay and what we've got in there. So again, it's kind of Pick a Tech and Ask iCar kind of reimagined. in a completely different manner. And the thing I've come to realize, Bryce, recently is it's not just technical support. Every time that you're in there, you are learning.
Yeah, no matter what. If you're asking questions, say a month later or a month ago, say somebody is asking about, I don't know, a door hinge replacement on Silverados or something. Like, how would you weld them? Because I know some of the new ones have some sort of adhesive on them. So, a month later, you're like looking at it, you're like, oh, I gotta do a door hinge or something on a truck. Oh, well, what do I do? How do I do it? And then you remember, oh yeah, so and so talked about that, and then you just kind of backtrack, and I think that's going to be a big helper for most people.
Yeah, and so what that's called is proactive microlearning. There's a name for it. I've discovered.
Oh.
I didn't invent the word.
Did you Google it?
I
You had to do some research on that?
like ChatGPT and I have
Oh,
had some conversations
okay.
and Perplexity and Gemini and what's the other one? Grok.
Never heard of that one, yeah.
That's Elon Musk's AI. So
Okay.
but anyways, where was I going with that? I don't even know. So so it's the micro learning. So every time you're in there, you're learning something, and you're doing it proactively. And because you're doing it proactively, you're not being told, "Hey, Bryce, I need you to go to this class." You're going like, "I have a question, and I'm trying to find the answer to this." The retention is higher. The likelihood of you completing that kind of education, event or whatever, the completion rate is much higher. And the engagement's higher, right? Because you're having a conversation, you're asking questions. You're not just sitting in a lecture, you're not just watching a video or just listening. There's a place for all that, obviously, but now you're proactively going through a micro learning experience, and the retention rate is much higher, and ultimately you're going to be more successful in this. So again, just another thing for us to think about is that, and I can track, we can track and like how much people are in here, where they're going, what their engagement rates are, and we can badge them, and I think we can create a whole new criteria, a whole new recognition program potentially someday too. So we'll see.
I think a good way to sum up what you said is you're learning without actually trying to learn.
Yeah,
You're just kind of, it's kind of like random not arts and crafts, like random facts. There we go. You just see it's like, oh, this was the largest ship on the Great Lakes or whatever, and it's like, oh, you're at a bar on a Thursday night doing trivia? Oh yeah, I know this one. You just click on it and you remember.
Yep. All right, so let's dive into BackBay a little bit. So again, the main tech support area, and we may do some modification on this. Again, I'm having people that are in there today help design this. Again, I just kind of laid the framework for it, but I need the industry's input on the overall layout of this. But what you do in here is you essentially go into one of the different channels. We've got a number of different channels: BackBay tech support and tool equipment products. There's a collision repair diagnostics track, and technicians come in here and say, "Hey, at Collision ProAssist, I'm working on this make, model, year of vehicle, and I need information on a section procedure or whatever." So let's pull up one here, for example. This is from Hal, had a question recently on a Honda Civic A-pillar. He was looking for procedures for the right hinge pillar reinforcement replacement and section procedure for the outer aperture. So now, again, I did the research, and I know that Honda has some information available. I directed him to Honda's their body repair, their Honda body repair manual welding and sectioning guideline revision that they released a few years ago. Honda gives you a lot more latitude for what you can do on exterior panels, much like Ford does as well. We kind of guide Hal to that, but now it's posted in here so everybody can see that answer and everybody knows where to go to get that information. And as this library continues to grow, it's searchable, it's sortable, we can keep finding information. So that's one way that we're supporting the technicians in here. The other thing that we've got is we've started creating channels for all these different tool equipment product manufacturers. So again, I mentioned Ryan and Sean earlier. We're having some troubles getting Sean in here, but Ryan's in here already. He's asked me to post a number of different things in here. So we've got product sheets, and we've got videos, and we've got we can put SDS in here. We the 3M class schedule can go in here, and just a way for 3M to, again, they've got a YouTube channel, they've got other communication channels, but now we've got also a central location where if you're in here and you've got a 3M question, you can ask a 3M question in here, and we'll get an answer directly from 3M in here.
It'll be good too. So say if for some random reason 3M has a miscalculation of product at the factory, and there is like a recall or something, we could put it 3M would then put it in their 3M tab here on the Discord, and you'd be able to hear about it probably before your supplier heard about it, and you know, okay, well, shit, I got to stop using my
Yeah.
my body filler for
Yep.
a little bit. Got to get some different stuff.
So, and it's the nice thing here too for the product manufacturers that like there's some links to YouTube videos that are in here. All that's being all the numbers on there are hitting their YouTube channel too. So it's not like it's off the it's not.
Oh
off
yeah,
the,
that's bringing
off
them
their
straight to the YouTube
It's
channel.
it's giving them credit. So again, the marketing people be as happy as they can be as well. Hopefully on it. So. But yeah, so I've been meeting with all these different cool tool equipment manufacturers, 3M and BTEG and Cam Auto and Carliner and Celette and the list goes on and on and on. And I've had conversation with Honda and Toyota. We've already got Toyota in here, Justin's in here. Need to start working with some other vehicle manufacturers. I'm trying to set some of those meetings up as well to get them in here. Collision repair diagnostics. We're going to have some collision repair diagnostic tracks in here. I've met with some refinishing organizations. I was originally wondering, like, should I include refinishing because there's so much information for painters out there already, but I thought, let's put it in here. So the only thing I'm not going to do is estimate it.
It's not gonna hurt.
No, exactly.
Paint talking about DeVille, Sada, and all them. It's not gonna hurt. It's not gonna it's just not gonna hurt at all. So why not?
Just another resource for painters. Well,
Yeah.
Again, I want to be a support community regardless of what role it is. But I'm not going to get into estimating. There's definitely enough of that, and I want this to be more technician specific. But
That's a whole nother animal
that's a whole
that they
nother
need
animal.
to.
You need that.
deal
There's
with.
plenty of other resources out there. Kristen and Collision Hub and others out there have got that information in spades. So I've added some other things here. So there's one example. I've got Great Designs in Steel. I've got a bunch of presentations in here. Now, Great Designs in Steel is an event that I love. I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to some of this stuff, and I've got a thirst for knowledge and learning. So Great Designs in Steel is an event that takes place in Detroit area every year. It consists of vehicle manufacturers and steel manufacturers, and they come and talk about new steel technology. And a lot of it's very high level, very metallurgic, PhDs up there talking about it, and they're finite testing, and I sit there like wide-eyed, I have no idea what this guy's talking about in many cases, but every presentation there's something in there they go like, ooh, collision repair technicians need to know this. And one of the things I love about it, some of the vehicle manufacturers will do like new model overviews, kind of like we want to do, which I'm sure we'll use the Great Designs in Steel at some point. And they talk about, they've got images of these new vehicles that might be 2 years old or 3 years out in the future, and they're showing the structure of these vehicles and where the advanced high-strength steels are, where the ultra-high-strength steels are. And then I can couple that with my knowledge of, well, General Motors typically does this, or Ford typically does that, and I could start thinking about what the body repair manual is going to potentially look like when that vehicle hits the road, and start formulating a plan for like how to deploy that information out to the industry. That's my superpower is having that kind of insight to be able to look at that and kind of think about the future, and again how it's going to impact you on the floor in 4 years when that vehicle shows up.
It's very cool too, because you can look with even in the last 10 years. You take a 2015 Silverado, and I like to call it's the front ends on those are like the fenders. They're not like, they're substructure, I call them.
Okay.
Because the frames are kind of part of the structure of the vehicle. And then you go to like when they updated the style, just like the F-150s, it's all kind of just panels that bolt on the exterior. You don't got to dig very.
Front end module.
Yeah, and it's got the big support beams that all come down. And it's very more centralized compared to it's very open underneath, and it's just weird because in 10 years it's like it changed from this to that, and
in 10 years it'll look different.
In 10 years it'll be different. It'll probably be 5 years, honestly.
Right. Okay. Oh, another area I do have in here is I do have an area for tech to tech. So again, I want the main questions to be answered by either myself or those tool equipment product manufacturers. But I also want techs to interact with one another. Like I want the technicians in this community to build a rapport with each other, to learn from each other. So I don't want technicians to offer an opinion on like, well, this is where I would section it, or yeah, you can do whatever you want on it, or I would straighten that. Like I don't want technicians there to talk about those kinds of things. But in here, like I think about like an 8-step procedure. And step 4, like in order to get to this particular spot, well, you got to lay on your back and you got to like tilt your neck, and you got to I want the technicians that have gone through these things. That's where they can really help us. I do want to have a peer-to-peer area in here, just kind of segregated from the bulk. So another thing I want to do with BackBay, and again, I think about the technicians, and I think about a lot of, especially younger technicians, or even could be an older technician as well, I guess, but that may work for a small independent that doesn't have access to a 401k plan, may not have a health insurance plan, even
It's your mom and pop shops up in the middle of the sticks
UP.
of Wisconsin or UP. Yeah. You're just one stall. You have your lift, toolbox, and then the other stall you got a downdraft paint booth. And that's all you got.
So I want to help those technicians too with that future planning. What does retirement look like for me? How do I see? What is a Roth IRA? How do I think? How do I start investing? If I want to get into stocks, how do I do that? So I've connected with a couple of different people. So I've got Rachel from Torque Financial. I've had some conversation with her. Hopefully we'll get her in here. She can offer some tips as well. I've got some resources in here as far as just some general, what is a Roth IRA? How do I create one? Just kind of high level. Again, I'm not an expert in that area. Auntie Jackie is. But,
as I said, neither am I. So.
But we've got the connections, right? So it's all about these connections and getting people in here. I've also got High Lift Financial. So let's say you're a shop owner that wants to sell your shop, or maybe you're a technician that wants to buy that mom and pop shop and go you know what, they're getting ready to sell, and but I don't know where to start. Think about how would you ever go about buying a shop? I don't have a clue, right? So
it's bigger than buying a house. You're buying a business.
Exactly.
You're buying your lifestyle.
Exactly.
And it's a lot to overcome. So it's good that we have. A lot of people are gonna initially look at BackBay and be like, "Oh, it's just learning about glues and stuff, and how to weld stuff." It's no, it's more than that.
We want to expand beyond that, and we've even started a lifestyle with fitness and nutrition and mental health. Mental health's a big deal, and
this job is stressful.
We have some mental health resources in here. I've already got some, and timing is perfect because Mickey just did a body banging podcast to talk about breaking the mental health stigma, and I've got some links in here already to this Break the Stigma website, and I've reached out to them, see if we can get them to support this as well. So excited about that as well. So and then we're gonna have a couple other areas. I've got some stuff for instructors and students and colleges as well in here. And then the most recent thing that we've done in BackBay that I'm incredibly excited about as well is I think about all of the technicians out there that English is not their primary language. We have a lot of Spanish-speaking technicians that are out there, and there's never been a way for them to ask questions. Well, now through BackBay and through a bot that we've got on here, I can have a technician come in here, a Spanish-speaking technician, or up to 100 different languages, Russian, Portuguese,
Indian, Japanese, Chinese,
everything in between. And what they can do is they can type their question, they can ask a question in Spanish, and it will automatically put it into an English channel for me to look at. I can type my reply in English, and it automatically answers in the Spanish channel in Spanish. That's mind-blowing to me.
Or say you have somebody who's working on an Audi out in Arizona or in New Mexico or something, and they have a question, and maybe along the line we'll eventually get Audi's, maybe a direct line from Audi in Germany, and they'll just type it up, say translate it to German to Spanish or Spanish to German, and
that's a great idea. Man, we got a lot of work to do.
Oh yeah.
But no, I think it's gonna be that's a game changer. I think it's throughout my entire career, that's been the question: is it available in Spanish? Is it available in Spanish? Is it available in Russian? Is it available in Polish? I've been asked that many times, and now I can say, you know what? It is available, and I think that is super cool. Lots of stuff happening in BackBay. This is for me is one of the coolest things that I've had the opportunity to work on, and the response that I've gotten from these tool equipment product manufacturers about getting involved in this has been overwhelming. I haven't had anybody say, "No, I'm not interested in it."
Kick dust or nothing.
these are people that I trust. These are people that I've built relationships with over the past nearly 30 years.
And if they don't know you, they'd be like, oh yeah, I know Jason, from this one convention, and you got like 3 other people that can vouch for you and talk about you, and vice versa.
Yeah. So they're they're like we were. Like, again, they were technicians at one point. They grew up working on cars, and they now work for these different equipment manufacturers, and they're subject matter experts in those areas. And now the technicians have access to those people, and that's incredibly powerful, I think. So, again, it's available, collisionproassist.com. Go check it out. We're running it through WHOP.com. It's kind of how we use the process, and this is on the website as well. But you got to create a Discord account. You have to have a Discord account first. That's kind of step number one.
Very simple to do.
Very simple to do.
Pretty much you just put in an email, make a username, and there you go. You're on your way.
Yep. And then you go to the wap.com/collisionproassist. Pick which one you have, and we have a 7-day free trial. And not one of those free trials where you put your credit card in and they charge you 7 days.
Yeah, no, it's truly free.
There's no credit card required.
We're not going to charge you for a month after.
Yeah.
You're going to try it, and if you like it, hopefully you'll like it. We both think you'll like it.
And if they don't like it, I need to know that too, because it tells me that we've got work to do yet. Which I know we have work to do, but again, this is for the technicians. We need technician input to make this the best possible product that we can.
And I know that there's not a whole ton of super young techs like me. I'm only 22 years old in the industry. There's not a lot of younger techs coming in. I know that there's a lot of 30s, 40s, and 50s, a lot of older folks out there. Not to say that, not trying to be mean or nothing, but just I know it can sometimes, people like my uncle's age over here. But not everybody knows how to use like this kind of technology, and I know if it might get frustrating, just try and work at it. If you have a kid, have your kid show you how to do it, because I'm sure pretty much every kid knows how to work Discord, and they'll help you figure it out and kind of show you the ropes. Yeah. And I know it's going to be frustrating at first because there's a lot. I mean, it's going to be overwhelming.
It does look overwhelming, but
once
really
you get through
it's pretty simple.
Yeah, once you get down and kind of figure out where everything is, it's very easy to navigate.
In a book, and you're just going in and looking for stuff. And one of the reasons I put it in Discord, well, a couple of reasons I put it in Discord is because I can monitor, I can channel different people. I can create private channels, and I can make sure that you don't have access to this channel, but you do have access to that channel, and vice versa. Using WAP as a gateway really helps that out. But back to that real quick. Once you create the WAP account, then you connect the Discord account with the WAP account. Again, there's videos on the website. And if anybody has any questions, again, I'm here to help answer that. But so I put it in Discord for that, being able to categorize it. It's searchable, it's sortable. I can do videos in here. We can do a million different things in here. We can do those badges. We can track stuff. The automatic translation with the bots is incredible. The webhooks and getting information fed directly in here. So every time I post a video on the YouTube page, it automatically throws it in the Discord channel. The other thing it does is, you mentioned, you're the younger. I'm targeting a younger generation. I'm trying to target an 18 to early 30s demographic with this. Technicians that are willing, that recognize that, I don't know everything. I need a place to go when I have a question with something. I can't just keep asking the person in the stall next to me. They're getting tired of me asking questions. So I'm trying to get some interest that way. The other thing I think it does, it makes it look a little bit more attractive in an industry to a younger technician. We're not a Facebook industry now. We can be a Discord industry, if you will. Yeah. It's a way for shops to invest in their technicians. Everyone talks about turnover and turnout and losing technicians. $500 a year or $50 a month or $40 a month for access to it, depending on which level you go to, is a pretty insignificant investment to give your technician a wealth of information. Again, give them the think about how many tools. If you're a shop owner, think about how many tools or equipment that you've bought that you give it to a technician. They never get the proper training on it, and it gets shoved in the corner. You're out that investment.
$1,500, $2,000, whatever it is.
20,000 maybe, whatever it is. So you've got a piece of equipment that's just sitting in the corner now collecting dust. You've got a technician that thinks it's a piece of junk because it doesn't work. And now that tool equipment manufacturer's got a black eye, and they don't even know it with that particular individual because their stuff doesn't work. Well, if we could just connect the technician with the subject matter expert, and show them like all you do is push this button or adjust that. Like
That
light goes
works.
up, now it's a win-win-win for everybody, and that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
So, all right, well let's put a wrap on this one for this time,
Yeah.
and we'll see you next time in the Bay, I guess. And I want to thank our videographer, too, Adrix, on the camera today. So
Bro over there.
thanks,
Thanks,
for
bro.
that. Good job. You did an incredible job. So
Just gotta say one thing before we head out. Just want to say, no matter how shitty your day is, okay, it's always a good day when you wake up. Remember that.
fair enough.
It's always a good day when you wake up.
Words of wisdom from Bryce. All right, we'll see you next time in the back day.
Have a good one.